Yo, what's up, everybody? I know this is like a week late, but I just want to talk about that Walking Dead premiere last week. Yeah, that was crazy. I've never been through such a different range of emotions in such a short amount of time, to the point that at the end of it, I just kind of felt numb. It was crazy. I started off kind of mad, actually, because the way the episode started, the whole Daryl thing happens with Sasha and Abraham. And then, he conveniently has a bazooka and then blows everybody up. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, that's one thing that bothers me a little bit. Like, the timing of things that happens is a little bit too convenient. Like, the whole, scare tactic, and then people get saved at the last minute. Like, even the part at the end with Glenn. And, like, you think he's going to die. And I'm like, he's not going to die. They saved him. But is he going to die? And then Maggie's crying. And then, of course, Abe jumps in and has a machine gun and then shoots everybody, all the zombies surrounding him, and I'm like, whatever. It's another scare tactic. Or like when the bikers are holding them at gunpoint and you think they're about to shoot him, and then he's like, no, I'm not gonna shoot you. I was like, all right, cheap tactics. So small gripe aside, that was just my little small complaint. Everything else was sick. So that whole sequence with Rick and Michonne and when they're walking was crazy. So I was a little mad at first because they just skipped over the whole way that the last season ended. It's daylight, they're walking, and then the kids, he's saying, Mom, Mom, and I was like, oh shit. And then they just ignored that part. So I was like, did they rewrite or reshoot or something? Because all of a sudden it's nighttime and that never happened. So I went into that sequence kind of mad, like, are they really just going to ignore that thing like it never happened? And then I guess they just kind of redid it a little bit. So the kid freezes up. And I'm not gonna lie, Lord forgive me, I was laughing at that part, because I'm like, everything that Carol said to him is like staying in his head, and now he's freaking out. And then what happens? When the zombies grabbed him, I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing. I was actually laughing. I was like, yo, that's hilarious, like, because that kid had it coming. We knew he was gonna die. Then I was like, yo, Carol killed him. Carol inadvertently killed this kid. So I'm like laughing and laughing. And then the mom's crying, and then I'm like, oh shit, So I went from anger to happiness to now I'm like, oh fuck, now this lady's gonna die, because I actually liked her. Then the zombies grab her, they start eating her. Then I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, this Rick has no luck, because I actually liked her, and I liked the relationship she was having with Rick. So I'm like, damn. So Rich is actually watching this lady getting eaten, and I was like, that's fucked up. So now I'm like, I go from happiness to sadness, and I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. And then But then Rick snaps out of it, so props to Rick. He snaps out of it. He gets back into it. He chops her hand off to save Carl. So I was like, all right, good shit, Rick. He didn't get frozen too long. And this fucking kid picks up the gun, and I was like, oh, this fucking kid needed to die. You got to stop saving people. Carl shouldn't let this kid go. So he's pointing a gun at them, and then I'm mad again. I was like, this is some bullshit, this fucking kid. And Michonne comes out with the sword, stabs the kid. I was like, yeah, because, no hesitation at all. Michonne acted. Not even for like 5-second hesitation, she took this kid out. Then I was happy, and I was like, yeah, that's what's up. Nobody's giving Michonne enough credit for that part right there. And the gun goes off, and it hits Carl, and Carl turns around, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I was just up and down, up and down, up and down. And then he turns around. I thought he was done, because I don't even really read the comics or I'm not up in the book, so I didn't know that he was supposed to lose his eye. I thought he was done. I thought he was finished. I thought that bullet went into his head. So that was crazy. And then, Rick picks up the body, runs away, and then Michonne's just going ballistic, killing zombies. So that was crazy. And then, so right there, like, that episode that part right there made it one of the best season premieres. And then it goes into that whole Braveheart thing, which was kind of sick, actually. I liked it. Where everybody bands together and they start fighting. And then they start doing these quick cuts of everybody chopping the zombies up. I liked it. I kept telling everybody, I was like, yo, it's Braveheart. Like, this is some William Wallace shit. And they're just, like, having a war with zombies. So that was cool. But one thing I liked that I want to point out was how maybe a lot of people didn't pick up on this, but Morgan ended up being right about how people can change. So, like, the wolf, the leader of the wolf dude, he captures the doc lady. I'm bad with their names. So he takes her away, and we all think, like, yeah, Morgan's an asshole because, he let this guy live, and now he kidnapped this girl. So, yeah, he did put her in danger and we could argue that that was Morgan's fault, but then he ends up changing. He ends up changing. He ends up saving her more than once, actually, because he was about to leave and he sees the ladder. They're about to go up, and then he gets bit, and then he goes back for her. He could have just left her, but then he goes back to save her. So then they decide to go back into the town, and he's still saving her. Like, he's still fighting zombies off and trying to keep her alive. So, a coworker of mine said, like, basically the flow of energy transferred over. So even though it wasn't a direct result of maybe what Morgan did, that positive energy transitioned, and even on some small level, like, this guy changed. So even though Morgan kind of let him go, the end result was the guy still changed. Even though he was about to die in his last moments, he still changed for the better, even in a split second. So that's really good, and that adds legitimacy to what Morgan's trying to do now. The question is, I don't think Morgan's ever going to find out about this. So I don't know if they're going to go forward and now he's going to be doubting himself because of what happened, or if she's going to tell him that he changed, and maybe they'll prove Kyle wrong. So that would be interesting. But I don't know if he's ever really going to find out that actually happened. So yeah, it was a. I'm just keeping it short. I mean, it was a really sick premiere. What's gonna happen now? I don't know. Everybody's alive and safe now. I'm still standing by my argument, though. I'm still standing by what I said before. I think Daryl might go this season. I think it's a strong possibility. So we'll see what's gonna happen there. So we'll see what happens tonight. Later, y'all.